So we kind of have this debate going at Weapons and Warfare. When does a startup stop being a startup and become something all its own? Something new, something with which to be reckoned. Wherever that imaginary line exists, it seems Anduril Industries crossed it. No longer the new toy in Palmer Luckey's portfolio of ventures, Anduril is a serious player in the DoD's efforts to modernize its forces while preparing for America's next conflict. From Anduril's air systems like Bolt, Barracuda, and Roadrunner, to the Fury, the company's entry in the race to build the Air Force's collaborative combat aircraft, Anduril clearly has sights on the skies. So it really should be no surprise the company is amping up its underwater efforts as well. And that's the subject of this week's debrief. With a marketing look as distinctive as the approach to developing new hardware for the Department of Defense, Anduril's launch of its underwater systems, the Copperhead and Seabed Sentry, marks its latest salvo in the race to build affordable, sustainable options for the DoD.
The whole intent here is to create a new type of subsea effector to deal with the proliferation of enemy AUVs, particularly the PRC. Also Russia are getting very good at this. So why spend a very expensive weapon like a Mark 48 on a UUV that's perhaps like a fifth of the cost? So we created this particular system, which is a fraction of those to address the new targets that are proliferating in the maritime space.
To do that, Anduril built a couple distinctive variants of the Copperhead AUV.
One of the variants, if you will, of the Copperhead is the Copperhead M, which is the munitions variant. So in effect, that is a torpedo. So the two different sizes, the Copperhead 100 is a 100-pound payload, the Copperhead 500, 500-pound payload. And that basically kind of tracks generally with the Mark 54 torpedo, which roughly has a 100-pound warhead, and the Mark 48, which roughly has a 500 to 600-pound warhead.
Not content delivering payloads, Anduril is also developing an AI-powered sensor called Seabed Sentry that connects users to the ocean's depths. By placing these sensors in large enough numbers, Anduril can create a wireless network allowing operators to monitor and communicate underwater in real time, making it possible to constantly watch maritime assets and infrastructure.
This particular system is completely cableless. So it comes out of it, can be delivered clandestinely by the Dive XL, which is super important because you don't want your security cameras in places that the threat knows. Whereas these cabled systems, they're laid by big ships. So you know exactly where the surveillance system is going to be. So we're just providing this different approach.
Given Anduril's work with autonomous vehicles, you might think its underwater systems would operate much like the aerial systems, but that would be a mistake. According to Shane Arnott, Anduril's Senior Vice President of Programs and Engineering, the sea is pretty unforgiving when it comes to communication.
Your GPS denied the whole time, you've got no access to satellites. So it is a real masterclass for autonomy to do that. But absolutely, all of our systems talk with each other. They're all talking the same language using Lattice AI, and that gives us the ability to school or to team all of our different systems together to achieve kind of combined outcomes, if you will. So,
while visiting with Arnott, we discovered an Anduril partnership with another startup that we've profiled here on Weapons and Warfare, Sharrow Marine. The Michigan-based startup that's leading the way in propeller innovation can be found on an array of Anduril's AUVs.
So Sharrow, best in class when it comes to efficiency of props. We've been working with them on some other projects that aren't public, and it was an easy read across for them to come onto this particular system in the Copperhead, and they're in an affordable category. Like you look at some of the props that are on the real torpedoes, they're incredibly expensive. The props alone would be the same cost as a full Copperhead.
Finally, Anduril's big ambitions require some big real estate. Shortly after announcing the Copperhead and Sea Sentry platforms, the Orange County Business Journal reported Anduril would be renting some warehouse space a little less than a mile from its headquarters in Costa Mesa, bringing its total footprint in Orange County, California, to about 1.1 million square feet. The lease marks yet another step in Anduril's meteoric growth since opening shop in a small building near John Wayne Airport back in 2017.